WWE wrestlers can be on the road for more than 300 days a year. Whether it's travelling to TV tapings or pay-per-views, overseas tours or personal appearances, it can make for a tight schedule, and at times sacrificing a workout to get much needed rest and recuperation. So it's not surprising when some WWE wrestlers' physiques can change over the years, with some unable to reach their peak physical fitness until after leaving the WWE, making time to improve their bodies overall. In this video we look at 10 ex-WWE wrestlers who are in incredible shape after leaving WWE. Now it's important to note that we are talking about wrestlers not on the main roster, but those who have moved away from WWE entirely. Number 1. Al Snow. Throughout Al's wrestling career, his body always managed to be largely covered up. Even though he was never over because of his physique and size in both ECW and WWE, his body wasn't exactly impressive compared to others like Shamrock and Billy Gunn at the time. In present day, however, his look is almost on par with his former wrestling colleagues, as he's been hitting the gym hard since his WWE departure. Since 2008, Al had been working primarily in TNA as a road agent, competing occasionally. Al left the company in June 2017 and is currently working on his autobiography. Even at the age of 54, Al looks phenomenal for his age, and could easily still tie up with some of wrestling's current top stars. As for head, her body hasn't changed as much. Number 2. Vladimir Kozlov. If there's one thing Vince thrives on in the WWE, it's the inclusion of a foreign heel. We've had sneaky or devious wrestlers from the Far East, a Ugandan giant, and an Iranian native. However, Vince would adopt a number of heel Russians, such as Nikolai Volkov and Ivan Koloff in the 70s, though a Russian heel hadn't been seen in the WWE since the Bolsheviks in the early 90s. To change that, the WWE brought in Ukrainian native Oleg Prudis as Vladimir Kozlov, a stocky but no-nonsense Russian. He entered with a massive push, but it was clear that he was ill-equipped to cope with the high expectations of the WWE. With poor promos and wrestling skills, Vladimir wasn't taken seriously in the eyes of fans, and the only thing memorable about Kozlov was his comedic pairing with Santino Marella. When Kozlov left the WWE in 2011, his physique changed dramatically, turning any fat into lean muscle, and is now sporting a well-defined six-pack. Kozlov changed more than his body but his whole career, working as a stuntman, taking part in Fast and Furious 6 and John Wick 2. In 2017, he received his biggest acting break in the Chinese blockbuster film Wolf Warriors 2. Number 3. Rey Mysterio. Size was definitely not one of Rey Mysterio's strong points, and throughout his career in WCW, Mysterio was seen as nothing more than a cruiserweight. That all seemed to change when he entered WWE, as Mysterio seemed bulkier than his days in WCW. Even with his thicker appearance, he was still an unlikely candidate for the WWE to push and win the World Heavyweight Championship. Mysterio kept this weight up until his departure from the WWE in 2015. However, his size had been called into question when Mysterio was featured in an article by Sports Illustrated investigating steroid use by a number of professional wrestlers. The article mentioned Mysterio, who was alleged to have obtained nandrolone and stanozolol. Both have been listed as prohibited drugs under the WWE wellness policy, and consequently Mysterio was suspended for 30 days. Mysterio would argue he was prescribed the drugs for both his knee and arm, but a second violation had occurred in 2012, with Mysterio being suspended for 60 days. Post-WWE career and without the wellness policy being a bother, Mysterio seems to have gained incredible muscle mass, as seen in various Instagram posts. Number 4. Sean Waltman. Another wrestler who was always seen with a slender frame since his debut in the WWE in 1993. Wrestling as the 1-2-3 Kid, Waltman was quick and agile around the ring, using speedy offense to his advantage against bigger opponents. Waltman's build would stay relatively the same throughout the 90s, wrestling as six-pack and X-Pac in both WCW and the WWF. Unfortunately, later on in his career, his wild lifestyle outside the ring would take a toll on his body. During his run in Chikara, Waltman looked like he was squeezing into his old DX and 123 Kid wrestling attire, and had a noticeable gut. Thankfully, those darker times seem to be behind him, and Waltman recently uploaded a selfie on Twitter with an impressive physique, no doubt the best he's ever looked. Waltman even captioned the image with, "physically and mentally in the best shape of my life." He would credit DDP Yoga, Bulletproof Nutrition and Body by Jake workout system to achieve his healthier look. Number 5. Kenny Omega. As it's probably been mentioned a few dozen times on this channel, Omega had a brief developmental stint in the WWE with Deep South Wrestling. Though Omega was much younger at the time, his body has changed dramatically over the years wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Omega's straight edge lifestyle may have something to do with his impressive cut physique, avoiding alcohol, tobacco and drugs. Number 6. Gene Snitsky. The WWE's resident baby punter had a short but memorable run feuding with Kane before he was repackaged as a bad man with back knee. He was one of only few men who could emulate the same size and stature of the Big Red Machine. However, after his brief push had passed, he clearly hadn't been a regular in the gym, with any definition around his arms and abdomen gone entirely. Snitsky would be released in 2008 and would wrestle on the independent circuit. Whilst he hadn't retired from wrestling, he moonlighted as a bodyguard for New York Yankees Alex Rodriguez and had been a pitchman for TriStar Products Power Pressure Cooker XL, preparing a number of dishes best made with the cookware on YouTube. Together with his new career path, Snitsky has also changed his lifestyle, sporting an impressive physique, being in the best shape ever. He has entered contests with his body, coming in second place in the Arnold Sports Festival. Number 7. Santino Marella. The former WWE star was last seen on WWE television in December 2015 and hadn't wrestled for the company since 2014 due to a serious neck injury which forced him into early retirement. While Santino had to shave his body hair on his abdomen to look like he had abs in WWE days, he certainly doesn't need to do that now, looking in tremendous shape without having to arrange his body hair. Spending most of his time training and focusing on his Battle Arts Academy wrestling school, rumours have surfaced that Santino could make a return very soon. Number 8. Sid. Whether you want to call him Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, or just plain old Sid, he was a dominant force in the WWE. Although Sid had an earlier run in the WWF during the early 90s, it was plagued by injury and largely uneventful, until his heel turn after Hulk Hogan eliminated him from the 1992 Royal Rumble. Sid returned to the WWF in 1995 as Psycho Sid, a man who lived up to his reputation by punishing opponents with his powerbomb. Sid took Shawn Michaels out with 3 powerbombs, then worked a main event program with WWF champion Diesel. Although Sid suffered a loss to Diesel, he was booked strong and his push as a monster continued, culminating in 2 WWF championship runs in 1996. He would leave again for WCW, but in a match against Scott Steiner for the World Heavyweight Championship, Sid would experience one of the worst on-air injuries of all time, fracturing his leg and putting him out of action for several years. Before retiring at the age of 51, Sid would transform his body and appear in bodybuilding contests looking ripped. This was considered remarkable, since he had a weak left arm stemming from a torn bicep and a weak leg due to his leg fracture. Number 9. Bubba Ray Dudley. Wrestling as one half of the tag team the Dudley Boys in both WWE and ECW, Bubba Ray had always been seen as a large pudgy wrestler. When he felt that the team and gimmick of the Dudley Boys / Team 3D had run its course, he branched out on his own in TNA and underwent a huge body transformation to climb right to the top of the promotion. He commented about his drastic change in a 2013 interview with Newsday. "It's been a lot of work, but I really did it the old-fashioned way and lost almost 100 pounds. I got up in the morning, did cardio, I ate 5 to 6 meals a day, I drank a gallon of water. I lifted weights in the afternoon. I was just really careful about what I did and really diligent about getting to the gym every single day." And number 10. Bull Nakano. Keiko Nakano would start her wrestling career at the young age of 15. She was rather short in stature at only 5'7" inches, but she weighed over 200 pounds. With her dark makeup and signature spiked hair, Nakano had an incredibly opposing look. She provided a spark of life for the WWF's new generation women's division, putting on great matches with WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze, eventually winning the belt. She was then fired from the WWF after being found in possession of cocaine. The injuries suffered in the ring would lead to her retirement in 1997, but Nakano would pursue a career as a professional golfer, ultimately qualifying for the Ladies Professional Golf Association. In the years following her retirement, Nakano began to diet and gradually lose weight. In 1998, Nakano released a book about her weight loss, calling it Bull Nakano's Diet Journal: How I Went from Size 19 to a Size 9. Well guys, there you have it. 10 ex-WWE wrestlers who are in incredible shape after leaving WWE. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.